Alright folks, this is going to be weird today. I can't get into my room to record because people are using my room right now, which is good, which is fine, but I can't get in there to record. So I am going to be doing this actually on my laptop. Alright, so let's see how that works. I'm having to write on my laptop screen, but let's see how that goes. Now look, I'm going to rewrite this first problem. I'm going to have to write big. So m squared is equal to 49. Now look, basically this up here says if k is positive, that means that you get two square roots. You get the positive 3, negative 3. If it were, say, x squared is equal to 9, right? Take the square root of both sides, and whenever you take the square root of a variable, remember, you have to give positive 3 and negative 3. Alright? Now, that's all that that's saying. Also, it's saying, look, if k equals 0, alright? Let's say that k equals 0. Well, if x squared equals 0, right, I take the square root of 0, that just means that x is going to equal 0. Alright? Now, what if it's negative? Say if I had x squared is equal to negative 3. Take the square root of this and the square root of what? There's no number when multiply it by itself that gives me a negative. That's not possible. It is, but it's with imaginary numbers. Okay? And so the answer is no real number roots, no real number solutions. Okay? And this is all stuff that you guys already know. We've already talked about. You feel comfortable with it. This is going to be pretty easy stuff, I think, for us. So let's look at this. I don't want to know what m squared is. I want to know what m is. So I'm going to take the square root of this side and the square root of that side. I'm going to get m is equal to positive 7 and negative 7, right? Because if m is positive 7, then positive 7 times positive 7 gives me 49. If m is negative 7, then negative 7 times negative 7 gives me positive 49. Alright? Now let's look at b over here. You guys already know if I'm solving for a variable, I want to get that variable by itself. So let me rewrite this. This is 5r squared is equal to 45. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. Alright? That just cancels out, and that leaves me with r squared is equal to 9. Okay, well we can see where this is going. Right? Let me extend the page a bit. Now I need to take the square root of this side and the square root of that side, and that's going to leave me with r is equal to positive 3, comma, negative 3. Well, let's plug it back in, just see if it works, right? 5 times 3 squared is equal to 45. Well, remember with PEMDAS, I do the exponents first, so that's going to be 5 times 9 is equal to 45. And we can see that 45 equals 45. Nice. That's good. Now, if I had negative in there, it's the exact same thing. Negative 3 squared is positive 9. 5 times positive 9 equals 45. 45 is the same as 45. So that's my solution. Okay? That was my solution for the first one. Hey, I kind of like this. I'm kind of mumbling a bit, but that's all right. You guys can handle that. You hear me mumble all the time. Let's look at this next page. Ooh, okay, now wait a minute. Remember, if I want to solve for a variable, I've got to get it by itself. But I see that this thing squared is equal to that. Well, that means that I can take the square root of both of those. Square root of this, square root of that. And that's going to leave me with x plus 6 is equal to 64 squared. Now, I don't have my calculator with me. Hang on a second. Oh, I do have my phone. 64 squared. Let's see what that says. All right, come on, phone. Come on, phone. I need a new phone. All right, 64 times 64 is equal to 16,384. Is that right? Is that what y'all got? 16,000? Wait, what? Oh. Do you see what I'm doing? I took the square root of this, and I tried to square that. Oh, you know, when I'm not at my board, I just lose sight of what I'm doing. Square root of 64 is positive or negative 8, guys. Thank you for catching me. I bet you were going, what is he doing? Now look, that's really two equations that I have to solve. X plus 6 equals 8, and x plus 6 equals negative 8. All right, well, let's solve each one. Subtract 6 from this side. Remember, that's an equals. Subtract 6 from that side, and you're going to get x is equal to 2. Okay. Over here, I'm going to subtract 6 and subtract 6, and I'm going to get x is equal to negative 14. All right. Let's see if that works. I'm going to get a different color. How about orange? Let's try orange. All right, let's go back to the original equation. 2 plus 6 squared equals 64. Okay. 8 squared equals 64, and we can see that that's right. Okay. Now let's go down here and try negative 14 plus 6 squared is equal to 64. Negative 8 squared is equal to 64, and you can see, yeah, that's true too. So both of those things work. All right. So my solution is x equals 2 and x equals negative 14. Okay? Everybody see that? Thanks, guys. Forgive me for that first part. I don't know what I was doing trying to square 64. Took the square root of 64. There we go. All right. Let's look at the next one. Okay? Oh, look, we've got 2 here. All right. Now remember, whenever I'm trying to solve for a perfect square, okay, which I have here, the variable is inside that perfect square. Whenever I'm doing that, I need to isolate it, get it by itself. So divide that side by 5 and that side by 5. That just cancels, and it leaves me with x minus 4 squared is equal to 8. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to take the square root of this side and the square root of that side. Taking the square root, okay, of the variable, that leaves me with x minus 4 is equal to positive and negative root 8. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is, I need to simplify root 8. That's root 2 times root 4, which is also root 2 times root 2. Alright, so those two pair up and give me 2, and I'm left with a root 2 there. Alright, so this is really x minus 4 equals plus and minus 2 root 2. Okay. Now, remember, that's really 2 equations. It's x minus 4, right, is equal to 2 root 2, and x minus 4 is equal to negative 2 root 2. There we go. Add 4, and I'm going to get x is equal to 4 plus 2 root 2. Remember, I can't add them together because they're not like terms, right? Same thing here. Add 4. And over here, I'm going to get x is equal to 4 minus 2 root 2. Okay, that's my solution. Those 2 answers. All right. Now look, I'm going to draw a line down here so we don't get confused for me working on this one. What on earth should I do? Well, I know if I want to solve a quadratic equation like this, I like to get everything on one side. So if I subtract 49 from both sides, I'm going to get y squared plus 6y is equal to negative 40. Oh, I'm sorry, not equal to. Stay with me. Y squared plus 6y minus 40 is equal to 0. Okay, now let's look at minus 40. Minus 40, okay? And let's come up with the factors of minus 40. Well, it's 1 and 40, 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10. Wait, 4 and 10 are 6 apart, right? So if I did positive 10 and negative 4, that would give me x minus 4 when I factor it, x plus 10. Okay, is equal to 0. Okay, now what makes this 0? Well, when x is equal to 4. And what makes this 0? When x is equal to 10. So my solution is 4 and 10. And there we go. X equals 4, X equals 10. Done. You plug it in there, you're going to get a correct answer. Let's just try one of them, you know. And let me see. Well, let me see if I have another example here. I do. I have two more. We got to go to them, okay? All right, so let's go back to 4. Okay, let me go back to 4. Let me go back. There we go. All right, remember, look, the variable is tucked inside here, and it is a perfect square, right? It says it's squared, so we just need to isolate this thing, okay? So let's do that. First thing we're going to do, remember, you get rid of the thing farthest away, so we're going to subtract 15 from both sides, and that's going to give us 2 times 3x minus 5 squared is equal to negative 8. This is going to be interesting. Here we go. All right. Now we're going to divide both sides by 2, right here and right here, and it's going to say that 3x minus 5 squared is equal to negative 4. I'm going to take the square root of this and go, wait a minute, I can't do that. Square root of a negative number? No solution. No solution for this. Remember, when this number over here is negative, I can't take the square root of both sides. There's not an x that makes that statement true. Okay? Alright. That's clear enough. I kind of like it, but we were going in the right direction. You know, we were just going to take the square root of both sides and then we would do two equations, but we can't because that thing's negative. You can't take the square root of a negative number and get real answers. You can get imaginary answers. Okay? Alright, let's look at the last one here. Okay? It says, oh, well, this is easy. It says, express each trinomial as the square of a binomial. Well, we have a trinomial right here. And you know what? All this means is just factor it. Okay? Well, there's nothing in front of the y squared, right? So I don't need to use the AC method. All right? I only use that when there's something in front of the y squared other than 1. Okay? So I know it's going to look like this. There's going to be a y here and a y here. Then I take the back number here and I factor it. 1 and 16, 2 and 8, 3, no, 4 and 4. And once these two numbers are either equal to or once you get to this bottom number, you can stop looking for factors now. Okay? Now I'm going to look for the pair that adds up to 8. Well, that's this pair. And I want a positive 8, so that means that it needs to be plus 4 and plus 4. So do you see that this is exactly the same as that? So it's y plus 4 squared. Express the trinomial as the square of a binomial. That's what this is, the square of a binomial. Okay? That's it. We're done. All right? I think you guys are in good shape here, and I'm sorry that I had to write on my screen today, but hey, you know, that's the way it goes. I'm flexible. All right? All right, get to your homework.